There I am. Hello, everyone. Let's see. Okay. Alrighty, so let me invite some people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy New Year, everyone. Feliz Año. So, I'm just doing my weekly invitation to everyone, including you. You may already be here. I'm still inviting. Bear with me. Hopefully my signal stays pretty good and we can have this delightful conversation here and now. I hope you all come in. I hope everybody that's available can come in and say a word of greeting. I don't know. It feels like I haven't talked to you all in a long time. Okay. Still inviting. And hopefully you'll be able to hear me over the roar of the air conditioning unit, which is actually being worked on right now as we speak. Okay. I think I have everybody. I know you're probably looking at me while I'm doing this, but I'll see your comments in just a moment if you're making any. I always wonder sometimes when I watch lives why people, but usually people are waiting for folks to come in or that type of thing. So, all right, so I'm just going to go on and get started. Hey, y'all. How you doing? Hey. I know I'm kind of drowning myself out with the light here, but maybe I'll close these blinds or something. Let me do that now. See if that helps. Okay. That's a little better. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope that, that others will be able to join in with us. I'm really excited to share with you today. Happy New Year. I'm going to tell you, I told you all that I had a fresh word, fresh discovery that had been brewing inside of me for months. And I just had to wait and complete what I started and get ready to release this in the atmosphere and pray that it will be what you all need. So I want you to give me a little bit of your feedback on how this will bless you. I pray that this session today is actually a pivot, a real shift for you, even in listening to just a little bit. And so here's the thing. On Sunday, which happened to be New Year's Eve, I had the opportunity to facilitate. Thank you for the butterflies. I had the opportunity to facilitate our Super Solstice Star Sunday call, and we did a special meditation. It's still time because of the full moon energy for you to embark on that meditation if you like. It's in Good Girls Going. It's in the group Good Girls Going Goddess. And at the end, I invited each sister to declare their superpowers. And each sister did declare their superpower on the call on Sunday. Hey, sweetheart, thank you for saying hello. And I thought it was so ironic. I knew that the full moon was coming in on, I thought it was on Tuesday, and then Iyanla reminded us that it was on Monday, and it came in on Cancer. So let's connect some dots in terms of the theme. When you look at this, the sisters declaring their superpowers and coming into this new year on a super moon in Cancer. The energy of the moon is still pretty ripe right now. It's getting ready to start descending, if you will, or waning. However, it is a signal of the year because this year is supposed to be a breakthrough year for all things woman. And we see that happening in the tides of women finding their voices through the Me Too movement, women releasing themselves from sexual shame, from the predator experiences that they've had. However, the Year of the Woman is not just about activism. The Year of the Woman is also about women healing each other, but not just at a earthly level, that there will be some real Akashic level shifts for those of us who do the work, who embark on doing the work. And so one of the things that is our superpower is, and I do have notes. I am looking at notes because I believe that, hey, sweetie, I miss you. This will be a full session that you can use if you choose at the top of the year. We, women, basically, it's women who give one another permission to be free. It's us who liberates another woman through our truth, through telling our truth, through standing in our truth. And the divine feminine is really very present on the planet in a way that is elevated and will be elevated beyond misguided or ill-intentioned men. And so I don't care who the man is. Sometimes men are not even conscious of how they participate in the patriarchy, okay? So this does not make them the villain. There's a conversation happening amongst men where there are men who are owning their own misogyny, who are coming forth with apologies, who are standing for women. So they're not an enemy. To be a goddess, to walk in the divine feminine does not mean that we're anti-men. And so one of the things when I invited each of you to declare your superpowers is, one, it acts as a reminder. And I want you to look at the word reminder, okay? You're reminding, meaning reminding yourself, right? And so it acts as a reminder of what you already know at your DNA level, that you have these superpowers. Many of us know that we have them. Women really do have these superpowers. Just the mere fact that we have a period, that we're able to give birth, the way that the cervix expands, all of the things that are so amazing about us. The way that we can multitask when the masculine mind tends to only be able to focus on one thing at a time. So declaring your superpower, 1, is a reminder. 2, it's an affirmation. 3, it's a choice. It is an active choice that when I use my voice to declare and speak over my life the good things about me, it means that I'm choosing the best part of myself. Even no matter what is happening in the world, no matter what I've done wrong, no matter where I've gotten off the path or not, it acts as a new choice when you declare it, when you use your voice. And then the next thing is it's an activation. So to declare it on New Year's Eve, to declare your superpowers, I want each one of you today, if you're listening, I want you, if you thought about it after Sunday, or you listened to the recording, or you just heard what I just said, I want you to drop into the comments your superpower. And I'm not talking about I'm going to talk you through this a little bit, because I'm not talking about just what you're good at. I'm talking, a lot of times your superpower is in the area where you have the kryptonite. You understand the journey of Superman? I used to think that kryptonite was something that gave him power. I didn't realize, because I really wasn't into comics. I really don't know where I was in my childhood in terms of imagination. I think I had enough spiritual gifts that I probably was drifting off somewhere, but so I don't remember a whole bunch of fables and stuff like that. But so my understanding of kryptonite was off. And then when I understood that kryptonite is what took away Superman's power. So one of the ways to know what your superpower is to think about the area of your kryptonite. So for me, my kryptonite, and this, some of you may not know this right away. My kryptonite over time I thought it was one thing. So I used to think that it was abandonment. Let's just say it was abandonment, because that was the most obvious to me because of my mother and father's divorce. That's where my heart was broken, right? I want you to think about you. And so there's usually an incident or turning point in your life where whatever was your superpower, that thing became your kryptonite. Sometimes though, when you've done deep enough work, you understand that your kryptonite is not necessarily the one that's so obvious. So what I'm suggesting to you is look at for a minute, think about the kryptonite, the area that has caused you to go weak. So it could be, some of you may go immediately to your relationships, but I want you to look at what need was that relationship feeling for you. And then usually the opposite is your area of your superpower. It's your strength. There's something there. There's something about you that is just supercharged, that if you can imagine yourself putting on your cape and you turn into that particular energy, right? So I want you to think about that. And so drop it in the comment section. What is your superpower? Okay? Come on, I want you to play along with me here. Drop in the comments section. Some of you already declared your superpowers. One of you who I know is watching declared that your superpower now for 2018 is standing in your truth. It doesn't mean that you have to do a whole assessment of your life. We'll do that later. I wanted you to just zero in a little bit. We'll do that later in another setting. And I'll show you how you can do that in detail. But right now, for 2018, even with the description I just gave, what is your superpower? What are you declaring as your superpower? And oftentimes, we've had these superpowers for a long time, but the doubt sets in and the distractions set in. And the doubt and the distractions can be as simple as the habit of majoring in minor things. That's my favorite saying sometimes when I look at us as a collective society, is we spend so much time majoring in minor things. I'm going somewhere with this because this level of mindfulness about what your superpower is is a resource. It is a prosperity point, and it's a shifting point towards abundance, right? One of the things that I'm excited about is the new program for 2018 that I am introducing and shifting a little bit from the master class model into coaching clinics, because the truth of the matter is I was already doing that. Based off of your responses, for those of you who have been in the master class, you leave the master class saying, "Phew, oh wow." So instead of just doing classes that really should be an hour, I'm so inspired to take us on a journey of healing some of our relationships with money. And so this month, well, let me tell you the name of it. You can see it already in the title, and that is She Magic. She Magic. And this, we're going to focus on our She Magic in 3 areas. Can you guess what the areas are? If you've been working with me or in this community, you kind of know the 3 areas of focus that I work with, right? Okay, I'm seeing you put in your superpowers. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I'm going to call them out because we want to call them out. Yes, I'm going to call them out. All right now. All of these superpowers can heal us, right? Even when we feel the most broken. So check this out. So I see breaking out of my cocoon and flying free. Another one is intimacy, or into me I see, and connection. Another one is self-care. Okay, superpower, self-care. That is a superpower, by the way. A lot of times as women, we downplay the area of self-care as a superpower, but it truly is. And you don't really understand how much it is until you can't take care of yourself, or until you really make a conscious effort to do it and realize how much of a concentrated effort it requires to eat well, to work your body, to monitor your words, to indulge on you without guilt. Okay, so we'll keep it going. Pleasure is a superpower. Purpose is a superpower. I want you to pick one. Oh yes, you're saying those are my 3 areas. Yes, those are my 3 areas. Ding, 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 ding. I wish I had a little prize for you, Keela, because you got it. Purpose, pleasure, and passion are the fundamentals of my work. But in order to get you to purpose, pleasure, and passion, I start off always with love, sex, and money. And so we're going to reverse engineer it for 2018 and start out with money, because money is on our mind, and money has a message for all of us. How our relationship with money, how we handle money, what we say about money, all of the things that we talk about regarding money. And so you all know, if you all have worked with me, then money is what? Can anybody else get? I promise I will give you a spontaneous reading. If you have worked with me on anything around money, what does money stand for? M-O-N-E-Y. What does money stand for? Money. Come on now. Money. Come on. I'm waiting on the one who knows it. Ding, 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 ding. I'm waiting. What does money stand for? M-O-N-E-Y. You got part of it. I want you to get the whole thing. In order to get the reading, you got part of it, sis. I'm waiting. I'm going to wait on you. Waiting on you. What is money, y'all? Yay!
That was easy. That was easy. That was easy.
Yay! You all do listen to me. My own natural energy yield. When you work with me around money, I pray that that's where you start. And from that foundation of from knowing your superpower and mindfulness around your own she magic as it relates to money, I'm going to pull for you. I'm going to do a reading for you as well. my love. In fact, let me get that together now. Since you're all ready, let me get my little juju over here. When it comes to our relationship with money, do you know one of the things that I have discovered, and I want to tell you 4 things today. I want you to leave here with 4 things today. All of us have filters when it comes to our relationship with money. And honestly, if I had not started paying myself first, investing in, first of all, the goal investments, and you can get with me later if you'd like to do that. But that's not what the whole point. But it wasn't until I started to really stretch myself, and you all talk about self-care. A lot of us like to go out and splurge as a way of demonstrating self-care. But that's a filter. That is a money mindset. How you relate to yourself, even with splurging. But and some of us can be extreme when it comes to saving or budgeting or whatever it is when it comes to our relationship with money. Do you know that our relationship with our money has a filter? And those filters create, doing too much. Those filters create what Spirit revealed to me as money curses. Money curses. Okay? So in this She Magic, for 4 months, we're going to focus on money. We're not going to focus on the curses, but we're going to focus on how to shift the curses into the gifts. Because if you have had any type of filter that has turned into a habit that does not serve you, that's all a curse is. And oftentimes you can't see it, because usually it's deeper than you. And so let me give you an example. I wanna blow you away a little bit today. I want to give you something that you can use. This is real goddess, real G. It's real G. I really do. I want to give you 5 filters in this space, okay? When it comes to that interferes with our magic, that why when we stop becoming mindful in our use of our magic. One of the reasons why we don't believe in our superpowers, why our she magic we doubt our she magic, or we get distracted from it, is because many of us have the responsibility of maintaining our household, or sometimes we are trying to receive approval for our achievements in ways that are all external. Some of us are security seeking. Some of us don't want to look at it. We don't want to really have a relationship. And women oftentimes say things I'm not good at math. And so we start to develop a broken relationship with mathematics, with science. And so oftentimes that's because we've been taught that there's a Prince Charming that is supposed to do that. I love Dr. Barbara Stanley's book called Prince Charming Is Not Coming. For those of you who have built your life and waiting for a man, or you have had a man or a lover, because the same dynamics can happen in female, in same-sex relationships, where it still is the belief I want to be provided for. So I'm just touching on a few things right now, but check this out. All of us have filters around that create what I call money curses. We're going to go into the money curses and how to break them the first month in the coaching clinic for this January, so that we're in position to prosper. So even if you are invested in cryptocurrency, even if you have your gold account, some people will strain and struggle to do it, or don't really have, or just looking for the magic bullet in it, or microwave result, because of this. Number one, Every person has had an experience that creates a filter of not worthy. How not worthy can look sometimes is it affects your life purpose, it affects your life plan, and it also affects your spiritual curriculum. Okay? Number 4 is worthless. Worthless is a unique one because worthless can show up as I'm worth more. If you are finding yourself always saying, I'm worth more than this, I should have more than this, it really is just an exaggerated experience of worthlessness. Do you know that sometimes the most arrogant woman, man, or whatever, what they really are covering is deep levels of insecurity? This is why in mindfulness, we're always looking to find our balance. And so if you have been, as you listen to all of these that I'm about to cover, as you listen to all of them, understand this. None of them are bad, right or wrong, good or bad. All of the experiences that we have get exaggerated by habits and the attention that we give to the filter. So we listen a certain way, we hear people a certain way through these filters, okay? And so worth less and worth more are basically the same of the same coin. Just like love and hate is the same energy, it's just on different ends of the spectrum. And so worth less and worth more can show up as entitlement. Y'all know I did a whole teaching on entitlements. If you one of the entitled ones, or you've been told you feel you're too entitled, go listen to that message. I believe you'll have a breakthrough with an anointed message. Not deserving. It should worth less and worth more really shows up as not deserving. It has to do with being feeling like you are soiled or defective. Sometimes worth less or worth more gets fed by an experience with sexual abuse or some type of physical deformity. You can have a relationship with how you see the world and how you see your value, your relationship with money through these filters, okay? So worth less and worth more can show up as arrogance as well, right? And it can show up as why even bother? Why even bother? Okay? So a lot of times when we're having reactions to people, our humanity is reacting to their humanity, because 99% of what other people are experiencing is not about you. But 1% of it may be about you, about how you're interacting. But what happens is they come together and they start playing off of each other. When you have these filters, it affects how you see the world, how you date, how you receive love, how you give love, and certainly your relationship with money. So number 3, not good enough. Not good enough. Can someone guess what would be the opposite of not good enough? How it plays out as a filter? How does not good enough play out as a filter? I'm going to describe it, but while you put it in the comments. So the activity of not good enough a lot of times is all about, yes, Keela, you got it, girl.
That was easy.
Yes. So not good enough, its opposite is better than. I'm better than that. I'm better than them. Not good enough, I'm better. And it's an air. It can be an air. It's not something that you have to communicate. Now, mind you, mindfulness is about unseen communication with yourself, with the world, and with your spirit. And of course, your affairs. So how that shows up is all about right, wrong. Always evaluating whether something is good. In fact, sometimes for people who's not good enough, or it's about quality, they're always making qualitative statements about anything anyone says to them, Anything that they say, always evaluating through right, wrong, good, bad. So the not good enough, better than can show up in our communication. It can show up in our performance or performance anxiety. In fact, not good enough and better than can have a hidden performance anxiety that no one sees because they're so invested in getting it right, being seen as right. It can be also in the communication when you think that another person is wrong. And so even when you are listening to someone and you start off with the belief that another person is wrong, it affect, even if you don't say anything, it can affect how what you say is received. So but we'll go deeper into that. I'm going to tell you in the course in the coaching clinic how this translates into money curses, because a lot of times we don't even know we're walking under these things. And you say, I'm going to work every day, I make good money, but I don't see it. Or you feel like you're always paying bills or you're always behind. It is not always the situation. It really is what we say, what we feel, what we do in the situation. Okay, so that was number 3. Number 4, not enough. Or someone guess what the opposite of not enough is, okay? And not enough sometimes looks very similar to not good enough. Whereas not good enough is about quality. Not enough is about quantity. Okay? So I don't see a comment yet, so I'm just going to go for the sake of time. The opposite of not enough is too much. So therefore, the person who thinks that they're not enough is sometimes they are hiders. Sometimes they are overachievers because they feel like they always have to do more. And I'm going to tell you another place that it shows up, particularly in our purchasing habits, is for both of these, not enough and not good enough, but particularly not enough. If you were to go into a not enough person, the filter, a dominant filter of not enough, if you go into their closet, they usually have 3, 4, 5 things. Because they don't ever want to feel like they don't have enough of something. So it's not going to be one roll of toilet tissue, because some people be like, oh, I'll just get another one. The not enough doesn't do that. They're like, oh no, I need to make sure that I have stack. It can even be hoarding when you feel not enough. Hoarding is not just a physical thing. It is also, you can be an emotional hoarder, meaning never really letting go of anything. You said attention seekers, loud, flashy. Not enough shows up as the opposite is too much. They think they're too much. So the way it shows up with money is I'm always pinching. I'm always making sure it's enough. The way it, or it can be I splurge. I have retail therapy, but it can also show up in terms of feeling like what I'm doing is a contribution and my contribution is enough. My contribution is sufficient. And I confess to you that I definitely have been one of the not enoughs, the recovering not enoughs. I definitely can go out and, when I got ready to move to Costa Rica, it was the most pivotal experience in my own awakening, because when I can be very organized to the point that I hide things from myself unintentionally. I don't plan to hide things, but I'll organize it to the point where, okay, this box is designated for this thing. So as I was getting ready to sell everything, I had to go in these organized closets and pull out these things. And even though it was labeled, I forgot that I had it. I broke down and bawled because I went out and I had purchased like sometimes 3 and 4 of things that I already had in my closet. Because the reason why I was so touched and so moved by that is because I thought about all the times I was worried about it not being enough. All the times that I was in lack consciousness and didn't know that I was in lack consciousness. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm telling you, this money mindfulness, this magic that we're talking about, we are oftentimes working magic against ourselves. A lot of times we are working our own magic against ourselves and not for ourselves, simply because we haven't been taught how to be mindful of it on a daily basis. Okay? And so I'm telling you, it is mind, body, and spirit. When we talk about healing, it has to go so much deeper. Okay, so then I did number 4. That the last one, number 5. Not important. Not important or more important. Not important or more important. Come on now. So how not important shows up is a lot of times a person who doesn't feel like they're important, they will let people make decisions for them. They will not take responsibility for their life because they don't think that they carry any weight. And so sometimes when it comes to the relationship with money, it may not be that you don't have it. It's just that attending to a bill or attending to an issue with your car. You know, there are some people who, just because a person owns a house doesn't mean they know how to maintain a house. I learned that in my marriage. Not this one. Got a little experience. And because I had a reference point, and because I had a father who was just, I call him a total man except for his emotions, right? Of course, but I'm enamored with my daddy. Okay, I'm a daddy's girl. And so we went to you see, I'm stammering when it comes to mentioning the second marriage, because the reason why I had to mention that is because I've had to have breakthroughs. I used to say that marriage didn't count, but actually because I knew that I had made a mistake afterward, shortly after that experience. So I'm working with myself to make sure that I know that it did count. It counted enough because it held me accountable, and that's a big part of money healing as well. So I'll get into that at another time. But he did not know how to take care of certain things in a house because he came from a family that never really had a house. They had, I don't know, preformed houses. I don't know, what do you call them? Somebody put what I'm trying to say in here. And then he lived in an apartment or a condo for almost 25 years. So when we got a house, he didn't know that there was things that you were supposed to do with a deck, and there were things that you're supposed to do with the paint and the yard, and the leaves in the gutter. And when you don't do these things, then they cause other problems that become very expensive. Okay? So you see, our relationship with money is not always about having it, not having it. Our relation, thank you, prefab houses. Thank you. It kind of was, I almost said trailer, but it wasn't quite a trailer, almost a trailer. And so our relationship with money is so much deeper than that. And that's why some of us are walking under curses that are not ours. They are actually generational. And even these filters. So let me finish with not important. Not important or more important. Sometimes these people can be shy, silent, and invisible. They tend to be invisible or go invisible very easily because they think that they don't matter. They're not important. And you know, one could say that not worthy, where I started with number one, and not important are the same, but it's different. One is a value conversation, and the other one is literally means that my life does not matter. Okay. And so each one of these if you receive these imprints that we now call filters, they usually happen at certain stages of your growth and development. And now our whole world, the career that we choose, the husband, wife, mate, lover, even the clothes we wear, our identity gets wrapped up in these filters, either protecting these filters or trying to get rid of them. So they also, not enough people are with these filters. They can also feel like everyone else is unimportant. Okay? You ever been around or in the company of someone who made you feel like you just weren't important? That's because they absolutely don't feel important. So when we have mama issues or daddy issues, a lot of times when we have wounds that have come up as a result of the relationship with our parents, we dress them up. We put clothes on them. We put a hat on it. We put makeup on it, and it looks fly, and it's a diva. Or sometimes we get real naked with it in order to just don't see me, don't really see what's going on. And so when it comes to our magic, we end up majoring in minor things. Back to my point. And so what I'm saying to us is that your money relationship has a message. And if you want to tap into your magic, one of the ways to start with why, certain things you may feel not worthy, not good enough, not important. These are reoccurring themes. I guarantee you, if you just look at where you are emotionally with your trigger, one of the things you'll learn in this She Magic money cycle that we're going to do is all of those filters create a drama cycle. Nobody has to know that you're in a drama cycle. A lot of times we think that drama is something that's happening outside or around other people. No. Drama cycles can be somebody says something to us. Somebody does, and especially with social media, someone doesn't acknowledge us, they don't like us, and so it sets off an inner conversation. The inner conversation usually comes through the filters that I just mentioned. Yes, definitely fear and ego based. And yes. In fact, that's exactly what we're going to talk about, because this affects our communication with ourselves, which is where I started. If you just came in on the program, the broadcast, is declaring your superpower, because many of us understand what it means to be a human being, but we don't really look at that word, human and being, and there's a difference. There's a difference. And yes, the drama cycle, sis, can actually, you could be angry or sad or hurt because the drama cycle has started based off of just the 5 things that I mentioned. And if you are a child and you start this drama cycle at 9, 12, depending on when life happened, and you go about your life, You think that the drama cycle is real, that is normal, until you begin to question it, until you begin to declare things like, this is my superpower, this is my desire, this is my vision, this is my intention for this year. And so most of you who are in here are on this broadcast, you have seen enough of yourself, hopefully, to know what your patterns are. And so nobody has to tell you. A lot of times your patterns only get your attention when they become painful. If the patterns work for us or help us to win, a lot of times we don't have to look at ourselves or reevaluate them. When the pattern allows you to get what you want, it's not until you don't get what you want that you look at the pattern and you say, I got to do something different. I'm better than this. I'm worthy of more than this. This is not enough, or this is too much. You understand? And so, or this is, I don't feel important to this person. And so you start making decisions that are different, that amplify your magic or de-amplifies your magic. And a lot of times when it comes to mindfulness in terms of magic, people talk about black girl magic, but what I like to do in these coaching clinics is to amplify our magic, to activate your superpower, to whatever it is that you have declared in here, that you begin to amplify it. You have to understand that when we start this healing journey, you can come in and open the door if you're knocking. Hey.
Okay, now here they're going to be working in the closet.
Okay.
So I'm finished with the...
Oh, you're gone. Okay, thank you. Sorry, y'all. Okay. So when it comes to your magic, y'all, like, I'm really trying not to reveal everything on this live because, you know, I'm a teacher at heart. And I want people who, and I don't care if you're my friend, if it's gonna help you get it, like, it sets my soul on fire for when you all pop, when you get it. When I get it, it sets my soul on fire. And let me tell you how I got it. Let me go on and let me tell you how deep this thing is. So I was looking at my money conversation and it didn't make sense to me. And I noticed in my money conversation that it sounded familiar. It sounded familiar, like some of my relationships that caused me the most discomfort, if you will. And I started to do and use my tools. I forgot that I had this training. And the training, it was 2 levels of training. And what Spirit has been saying to me for about 5 years consistently, you have everything you need. You have everything you need. Every time I would get into a place of thinking, oh, I got to do more, I was like, oh, where's that coming from? Let me give more. Oh, that's not enough. Let me add this. And even sometimes when you take my classes, when y'all say, oh, that was a lot. Well, let me tell you, I learned it. I have a plethora of teachers, of master teachers, healers that have groomed and worked with me to be masterful. And of course, you all know that Iyanla is my favorite. She's my mama. She's my big mama. And even in the lineage of your healing, you're going to pick up certain traits from your mama, your spiritual mothers too. You will pick up certain traits from them. And so so this is the joke. So if you all don't know this about me, let it be known from here on today. Anytime I go away to rest, anytime I go away to take good care of myself, I come back full. And I want to spill over. I want to give because as a child, I probably had more experiences of feeling like not enough or not good enough between those two. And so when people come to do this work, I always give you more than what you came for. It's my not enough working sometimes too much. So if that's an asset though. That's an asset. But when you hold the filters that I just mentioned as a deficit, you will continue to experience deficit consciousness, deficit relationships, deficit experiences, deficit manifestations. And so the She Magic coaching clinics are going to still be monthly. We're going to dedicate some time. There'll be a little bit more preparation and more assignments. I'm going to have a ritual for after each coaching clinic, there will be a ritual. We're going to spend 4 months in each area. The first 4 months, we are going to focus on money. She Magic money. The next 4 months, we're going to focus on She Magic sexuality. Then we're going to focus on She Magic love. And so money, though, is such a big topic that I believe that anyone who comes into the She Magic Money coaching clinics, it doesn't matter how much you know. It doesn't matter if you already are a coach, if you are already high performing executive. If there is something in your realm of your magic that you are looking to amplify, this is a great way to maintain it, because there's something that happens when you come together in a mastermind. If you do not believe me, Google Napoleon Hill .mastermind or Napoleon Hill -mastermind or Napoleon Hill mastermind. In Think and Grow Rich, he talks about how the mastermind of coming together with other like minds, how it sets you up for success. It sets you up for breakthrough. And so those of you who are already participating in the Bitcoin and the gold game with me, you are already on the Succulent Success team. I'm going to make some announcements, and we're going to reconfigure a little bit how that works as well. But it's only then you have the investment levels. You have 3 ways to pay. You can pay per month. I'm not going to be trying to chase let me tell you how I knew that we had to start with money. My mastermind circles were only $29. I did more chasing, sometimes $29, because what y'all do, the little games y'all play, or sometimes is when your account goes out of whack, you can't afford to have $29 coming out. And I understand that. I've been there. And so we're going to get that out of the way. Do you know that when you make a commitment, a financial commitment, one of the reasons why many of us use autopay is because when you don't have to consult your inner money blocks and your inner money conversation, then you can actually receive the material. A lot of times, if you are worried all the time about money, how you're going to pay, there's shame and guilt that sets in. When you have shame and guilt, then a lot of times you can't fully show up. You can't fully show up in the session. You won't fully participate. So there's going to be 3 ways to pay. 1, you can choose to pay per session and make the investment and go with that. Or you can pay for the entire 4 months, or you can pay for 6 months at a time. Get it out the way. And of course, there are incentives. I reduce the price so that you can actually make one payment and get into the work. It feels so much better for me as the facilitator, as the coach, as the counselor. It feels better to me, and it's going to feel better to you. So this whole money thing, people ask me all the time, The first question that they asked when I moved to Costa Rica, how did you do it? How did you eat? Where did you work? Because many of us have been conditioned that anything that comes with money has to do with working a 9-to-5 job, or work. And you trade your time for dollars. And that's how you equate your value, trading your time for dollars. And one of the reasons why I make, those of you who don't know, if you allow yourself to pay yourself first, you don't have to pay to participate in the masterminds or the coaching clinics. Because if you pay yourself first, you are saying that I am a valuable investment. If you pay yourself first, then I in turn support you in playing a bigger game in love, sex, and money. It's a trade-off, okay? And so it's because by me paying myself first, it's a stream. It creates a stream. It creates cooperative economics. Some of y'all just came out of Kwanzaa, but when it comes to cooperative economics, we'll shut down in a minute because we can't see the big vision. We're only looking at what do I have right now. But in order for you to influence your right now moment, is you have to be able to say what it is that you declare right now, not when I get it, not later. I'm gonna get to it later. But because if it was a man who gave you his phone number or vice versa, when you give a man your phone number, if you're single, a lot of times we freak out because they don't call. What we seem to vibe, we seem to get along, but why didn't he call? I don't understand that. Some of us have the same relationship with our healing. And so I'm going to be presenting an entire process around healing your money tree. Dana knew about it. She can tell you I was on fire for it, like just juicy, ready for it to come out, right? Healing your money tree. And we're going to start off this month with breaking through some of these money curses. So next week, now that you have declared your superpowers, now that you've heard some of the filters, there's some gifts on the other side of these filters that each of you are walking in. Next week when I come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those, how those filters become curses. So I think this is a good time to leave you, since now they're doing some drilling, and I think I've talked enough for you to digest. I'll look at some of your comments, but I'm gonna have to hurry up and do it. Okay, all right. Those of you who want the goal, Nicole, you can go to bit.ly /schedule with LT. Schedule with LT if you want to set up a conversation, and so you can come right on into the coaching clinics on the Pay Yourself program. There's also the Bitcoin boot camp that's coming up. That's another bonus for those of you who choose to pay yourself first. Let me see. All right. Some of you said I can definitely relate. I had to put in a lot of self-work to overcome some of these feelings. Nicole says, I have known my issues were generational. I saw it repeat going back to my grandmother. The buck stops today with me. Hallelujah, girl. Tell it. But that's what you were born for. You were born for the buck to stop with you. I was born for the buck to stop with me. The women that work with me were born to live in she magic. The women who work with me were the answer to the prayers of their grandmother's grandmother. The women who work with me came to be an interruption to the regularly scheduled programs. The women who work with me are going to turn every curse into a blessing. The women who work with me are going to come out of being a caterpillar into being a butterfly. But it does not mean that your labor is in vain. You have to go through the labor in order to birth. And see, my company is called Rebirth. So that means that that sometimes you have to be born again and again and again. Many of us get frustrated with the born again process. We just want to be the butterfly. But sometimes it's necessary in order for us to be the butterfly is that we got to go back in, and like Nicodemus said, do I have to enter into the womb of my mother? Yes, you do. To be born again. Look at that. It's in scripture. It's a hint for us. Nicodemus asked the question. Guess what? You are the answer to being born again. Born again is not just professing Christ. What is Christ? Come on now. But y'all activating the preacher. I was supposed to be saying goodbye. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Let me just close out with this. To be born again, and even if we just use Jesus, if we use Christ consciousness, that means to be crystallized into one. Many of us are so fragmented by the issues of our life, the issues of our heart. The word says out of the heart flows the issues of life. And so what do? I work to heal the heart of women, because I know that when we work to heal our heart, we access our magic. And our magic is when we start having moments when we start saying, I can't make this shit up. I can't believe that happened. One day I was at my altar. The next minute I was manifesting. One day I was on my knees praying, and the next minute I was manifesting. You understand, when grandmama was sitting in the rocking chair and she was saying, she was working magic. Call it any name you want to call. I had a praying grandmother. What? But no, you can't just pray. Many of us have empty prayers. Our prayers are impotent because we are not connected to them in the feeling nature. But our people, the people that we came from, struggled so much that every time they uttered something out of their mouth, it came from a heartfelt place because they were in so much pain. I'm here to tell you that you don't have to have pain. You can have pleasure in order and still be rebirthed. You can have pleasure and still emerge transformed. You can use your pain as a signal. You can, like Batman got a signal. Batman, the little bat signal. That every one of the people who had superpowers, they had something that they did. Catwoman, I love me some Catwoman, but I grew up on Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman's, one of the things Wonder Woman would do was spin. You got to find your superpower. My superpower is prayer. Why? Because I am ordained minister of the spoken word. That's my ordination. That's my gateway. You understand? And so that's why I work with women, so that when you leave working with me, you know your gateway. You know your ministry. And I don't care who you sit with. They only will edify it. All right. I think that's enough now. So listen, the link is above. You can join. Look at the 3 ways to join in and pay. You can go to bit.ly/she-magic. 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 It's right above here. And if you think, and look, we still got a couple of more Wednesdays before the class. It's every 3rd Thursday before the coaching clinic. It's not really a class. It's going to be working sessions. We're going to get some work in. So look, I love you, and there's nothing you all can do about it. I thank you for letting me come in here and get all hot and sweaty with you. I just love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, I promised Ayana a reading. Are you still here, Ayana? Are you still here? If not, I'll pull and then I'll post. I'll post it just to keep this video down. I already went into the deep end. I love y'all. I thank y'all for the comments. Thank you for the feedback. Just thank you for being in Good Girls Gone Goddess. Happy New Year to you all. Let's activate our superpowers. Let's do this thing. Let's do it on another level. Come on now. I don't care if you're already an existing client. All of my coaching clinics, master classes are basically a pair of shoes or a happy hour drink. I love you, and for real, I'm gone this time.